Welcome back to the Tired and Weary YouTube channel where tomorrow morning when you're going to be watching this, if you're going to be watching this, we're going to be previewing the game between Birmingham City and Cardiff City, set to take place on Wednesday 10th of April at 7:45 p.m. at St Andrews at Knighthead Park. Remember the second bit, at Knighthead Park, because that's going to be key for the future. Joining me tonight, we have this beer, genuine quality green Tuborg beer. Comes in a green bottle from Copenhagen in Denmark. Never had this one before. It just happened to be sitting in my fridge for the last 2 months since mystery box at Christmas. So yeah, 4% volume. Let's give this a little taste. It's not the worst. It's by far from the best. Yeah, we'll continue to drink that throughout the video, and maybe we can make it a regular occurrence. You know, we try a new beer, maybe every video, and give our thoughts and feelings on not only a blues, but a different lager, beer, thing, whatever. So yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with my thoughts on the Leicester City game. Coming off, well, that weekend, you know, the highs of Jay Stansfield's very fortunate equaliser on the stroke of half-time, so then losing in the 88th minute to a Stefan Mavididi header, which could have been prevented. But yeah, Leicester, we never really expected to go into it with and come out with a guaranteed win, but from a personal point of view, I didn't expect to go into it and thinking we'd lose, you know, shown by the fact that Millwall have gone, you know, they've welcomed Leicester to the Den tonight and they've won 1-0. You know, that the win wasn't impossible. We could have come out with something, and nearly did, and that's becoming a concerning theme as the season draws to a close. So yeah, Leicester, we matched them in the first half, and based on the first half performance, should have come out with a point. Second half, probably sat back a bit too much, to be quite honest. Let them play their game, and eventually pressure told, and they punished us as a top side such as Leicester will do, with hundreds of £1 million worth of talent in their ranks. And I'll mention work ethic straight away. Now, in recent weeks, we've seen an upturn in work ethic since the likes of the Middlesbrough game, where the nerviness of the fans translated to the players, and we settled for a 1-0 loss and didn't look like threatening at all. Since that night, and where I think a lot of us were, let's just say, fuming, the player effort has been there, the passion, if you want to quote that, is there, and that they look like they genuinely believe that they can stay up. But as we go on, in games, you can see the fitness concerns. You can see the players start to tire. We did at the weekend against Preston, the 1-0 win. Yes, okay, we could have made it more comfortable. We've made it 2-0 through Paik, but sitting back and allowing that pressure to grow on us because we don't have anything more to give is just a way of inviting pressure from an opponent and saying, yes, please come and score, and giving ourselves more work to do effectively. And that's what happened against Leicester. You saw the players start to tire. Lee Buchanan, who's been excellent since Mark Venus was in charge, he's been the one player who's really stood up and had himself counted for, really, and can hold his head up high for the season as a whole, I believe. But you saw him and Keshi Anderson, who was fresh off the bench, failed to close down the cross, which led to the Stefan Mavididi header at the back post. And, you know, Ethan Laird losing his positioning and not being able to challenge for that header at the back post. You know, sloppy mistakes start to creep in, and that's also been a telling sign of how things have gone this season. Sloppy mistakes have cost us and are killing us as we speak. If we're going to go down this season, sloppy mistakes will kill us. So yeah, that's my thought on the Leicester game. I feel like, as a fan base, we need to stop going into games, especially such as Leicester, thinking, oh my God, okay, we're going to lose. Yeah, let's see. It's a free hit. It's not a free hit. Quite frankly, we had 6 games left to go, 18 points to play for, and now we've got 15 points to play for because we didn't take the 3. You can't go into games thinking we're going to lose. Not at the same time, I say I didn't expect to win that game, but I didn't I didn't think we were going to lose. You know, there's always a chance. It's football. It's also the championship, and anything can happen. Anyone can take points off anyone, and yeah, I'll leave it at that. Anyways, on to tonight. So we're on Tuesday, the 9th of April, and we've had the open house event held at St Andrews, obviously delivered by Tom Wagner, who was in the house. Gary Cook, Gary Rowett was there. I've been at work tonight, so I haven't been able to catch up on everything that's been going on at the open house event, but from what I can see and what I've read so far, it looks very, very, very promising. A £2 to £3 billion new sporting complex in the centre of Birmingham, set to be open by the ambitious Tom Wagner by August 2029. I do believe so. A 5-year time frame. Can it happen? We will see. 60 acres of land, well, 48 confirmed, but 60 acres of land set to be owned by Blues to become this huge sporting complex that the whole of Birmingham can be proud of. Even those little Villa fans down the road can be proud of that and in their city. So what I'm planning on doing is I'll release a video going over the open house event later in the week when I've got a chance to compile all my thoughts together and see what's actually happened really, and all the little bits that have been talked about that I probably will have missed scrolling through X. So yeah, on to Cardiff. We're 6 minutes in, and I haven't mentioned Cardiff yet. So Cardiff, they've got nothing to play for. They're on 56 points, I do believe. They're comfortably mid-table. No playoffs, no relegation. So we're arguably where they like to be. But, you know, that their manager, when he came in at the start of the season, had a task on transforming their season. Last year, they were in a relegation battle themselves, managed to survive. And Errol Bullitt, their manager, appointed last season at the start of this campaign, he's guided them to a mid-table finish. And could they have challenged for the playoffs? Maybe. Most teams could challenge for the playoffs. It's all about form, and that's something that Cardiff City have been lacking in their last few games. In the last 5, they've won 2 and lost 3, so they're not on a decent run themselves. So I wouldn't say similar to us, because we're on a lot worse a streak than that. However, they've got nothing to play for, which could either go for us or against us. They could want to see out the season on a high and build for next season, mountain their challenge for the top 6, or they can sit back, rotate their squad, and allow us to get at them, which I'm hoping it's the latter, obviously. So yeah, Cardiff, they're key players. You're looking at Perry and G, right back, Carlin Grant, Kiana Tete, Josh Bowler, and Dimitrios Goutas, the centre-back. Now, Cardiff, they haven't scored too many goals this season, really. They've scored one more than us. However, their goals seem to be a lot more spread about than ours. So we've got Stansfield on 12, Jordan James and Juninho Bacuna just short of 10 for the campaign, which is really impressive. Cardiff, they have Perry and G and Carlin Grant as their top goal scorers, with 6 goals. And then Dimitrios Goutas comes in at second with 4 goals. So it's clear to see that they like scoring from the back. They like their defenders to contribute the goals. So that's something that we need to be very wary of, and I'm very concerned about, because defending set pieces, and yeah, that's a main weakness for us this season. We concede too many set pieces, and we're not that strong in the air. So hopefully they decide to rest Goutas for today's game, and we might have an easier time of it. But overall, on Cardiff, I'm not too worried. I mean, I'm going to say that, and that might come and bite me very badly where it hurts. But I'd say we can definitely go into it tonight. If we go into it with the right attitude, we can come out with something. And it really goes down to the players that are on the pitch and what they can provide us, and also the players on the bench who are going to help us see out the game. Is their work ethic right? And we'll come on to a few players who I'm concerned about and a few players I'd like to see very shortly. The reason I didn't upload this video on Tuesday daytime is because I wanted to react to the night's games and see what position we'd be in come tomorrow. And from what's happened tonight, it really draws into question the character and the belief of the players. Their technical and skillful ability as footballers are beyond doubt. They're good footballers. We have a good squad of players. However, it's their determination, their drive and their character to see us over the line, which could see us fall short, unfortunately. So tonight we've seen Sheffield Wednesday and Norwich draw 2-2. Sheffield Wednesday coming back from 2 goals down. You wouldn't see that from our team. We haven't seen that from a team consistently in many, many years. Millwall have somehow beaten Leicester. Leicester keep deciding to throw away the title just as they claw it back, as they did against us at the weekend. Huddersfield, I was in work and I'd seen they were 1-0 up and I was worried. At that point, I was deeply, deeply concerned. The facts that we'd be 4 points off safety, just deeply worrying. Made tomorrow's game look, as important as it is, it made it look even more important. It was like, we can go into tomorrow now, I feel, well, we know we need a win, but if we don't come out of the win, then we need to make sure we follow it up with a win on Saturday. But if Huddersfield did win that game, in which they lost 4-1 in the end, then I feel, if we lost tomorrow, it would have been curtains for us, honestly. And the final result impacting Blues is Plymouth against QPR, which finished in a 1-1 draw, which is perfect. The perfect result from that game. QPR, you could say you want them to win, but them drawing keeps them close. If we win, we go within touching distance of them, and it brings every single team all the way up to Swansea in 15th back into a relegation battle. If we win today, we go to 45 points, and the league is blown wide open. Swansea on 45 points gets sucked straight into a relegation battle once again, and so does every team below them. Which moves us on to the team selection, which I would go for to see us over the line. Now, here is my team, which if I sort out a graphic, you'll see pop up looking a lot nicer than what this one does. But for now, we've got a sheet of paper. If you can't see the sheet of paper, it's probably for the best. John Ruddy in goal. If you're going to go with one of our 2 goalkeepers, it's John Ruddy. The guy who started most of our games this season, albeit I'm still not convinced. We definitely is replacing in the summer, but that's talk for another video. John Ruddy in goal. Now, at home, at right back, Ethan Laird, all the way. We need to impose ourselves onto Cardiff, make ourselves known and let them deal with us. I feel like Cody Drammer is probably a bit more conservative defensive option. Ethan Laird provides that flair, provides the attack, provides the runs on the overlap, and gives us a different dynamic, and hopefully provide balls into the box for Stansfield and our other attackers to follow up on and grab us a goal. As our back 2, not sure on Mark Roberts' availability. I'm assuming he's out, and I wouldn't play him anyway. I feel Sanderson and Ayew, as much as they haven't formed a great partnership this season, and as much as Emmanuel Ayew or Ayew, however you want to call his name, as much as he isn't convincing, I believe he does have talent, and I feel his ability might just be able to get us over the line. Yes, he makes me very nervous when the ball goes near him. He might make a mistake, as he did against Watford, but so does Mark Roberts. Mark Roberts genuinely terrifies me. I've never felt so terrified than when Mark Roberts receives the ball on the edge of the box and he doesn't know what to do with it. Sanderson, our captain, he needs to step up. And that's another topic for another video. Who should be our captain? And it isn't Dion Sanderson. But while he is our captain for the rest of the season, he needs to step up and show his worth and show his value to the team and his qualities, and hopefully hold strong in that back line. Next to our centre-backs is Lee Buchanan, probably our star of the season, our player and signing of the season, who we were told was going to be terrible by Derby County fans, but has truly shown his worth and become a key player for us, and one we can't go without. He missed out on a few games under Mowbray, which shocked me and disappointed me a little bit, because he's slowly become my favourite player at the Blues, who's playing consistently, bar Lucas Djukovic, obviously, who's unfortunately out injured. Lee Buchanan, he's a lot more restrict. He's a lot more conservative than his opposing fullback in Ethan Laird, and I think he provides us with some strength at the back. If we were to attack with Ethan Laird, hold as a back three, Lee Buchanan is more than comfortable of holding his own and defending his left-hand side, even when we do have a winger who might not get back as much as you'd like, and we'll come on to him in just a second. In front of our two centre-backs, I've gone with Christian Bielik. The impact that Bielik had against Preston was immense. He truly was a great player on that day, and he really showed his worth, and it's something he needs to become more consistent at doing, dropping in between the midfield and the defence, picking up the ball, being able to pass out from the back, not relying on our defenders as much, but Bielik dropping in to just to pick the ball up and implement his composure to our setup. He turned into a championship Vieira on Saturday, and it really was good to see. He looks like he's gained a yard of pace as well, and maybe his layoff, with his stomach issue has done him well, because all season he hasn't looked sharp, and now I truly believe he could be back to his best. He was my man of the match at the weekend, and from what I found, that he was everyone's man of the match, and rightly so. A true warrior in the midfield, and hopefully he can carry that on against Cardiff. So, Jordan James, I don't feel like he should be out on the wing. He hasn't got the athleticism, he hasn't got the skill, or the flair, or the technical ability, and that makes him sound like a really bad player, but he's not. He's good at what he's good at, and what he's good at isn't running and taking on players, and so he should be kept as far from the left wing as possible. And I believe he'd be a good partner for Bielik, another player who can take the ball off the defenders, play it out, and get us going. Really, a good engine in there. He has the capacity to last for 90 minutes, and I think he'd complement Bielik just playing a bit further back. And because whilst he's scored, as I say, nearly 10 goals this season, he's nearly reaching double figures. Whilst he has contributed a lot, I don't feel playing behind the striker or on the left is his best position. And talking about playing behind the striker, I've decided to move Paik forward. We saw him in the position to get his first goal for the club against Preston. However, he failed to slot home, didn't he? But he is a player with the technical ability, the flair. You don't grow up in the La Masia Academy for nothing. He might not have made it at Barcelona, but here he is at Birmingham City, and he's slowly becoming one of our better players and one of our more gifted players who must, in my opinion, start the remainder of the games. So Paik behind the striker, hopefully able to feed some balls through and get some more creativity in the middle of the park going forwards. Out on the right-hand side, I've got Koji Miyoshi, another one of our players who's been very consistent this season, and a good transfer that we've made. 5 goals and 5 or 6 assists, I think, and that's something to build on going forward. Koji Miyoshi, for me, has to start. His work rate is brilliant. He, despite being very small in stature, he puts himself about, will go in and try and win 50-50 battles, and that's more than what can be said about a few other of our wingers in our ranks. On the opposing side, we have Juninho Bacuna. Bacuna, for me, has truly shown his value to us in the last few weeks. Something which I was beginning to question, I can't lie. I was a Juninho Bacuna doubter, but he's proven me wrong. He's come up and proven his worth. His work rate is close to being second to none in the team. He's up and down, putting himself about, and he's undroppable. Quite honestly, he has the creativity that we need in order to get in behind Cardiff's defence, in order to play balls through to the striker, and he has the ability to shoot from outside the box and create that little moment of magic that we just might need. Up front, was there any question about it? It's Jay Stansfield. 12 goals this season for Blues in his debut season in the Championship, And what a loan signing he's been. It's going to be sad to see him go. If he does go, watch this space. Jay Stansfield has to start up front. He's another one whose work rate, you can't question it. He's brilliant and will carry on going and going and going until he runs himself into the ground. Jay Stansfield has to start, which moves us over to the bench. Scott Hogan, I don't ever want to see him on the pitch for Blues again. Unfortunately, when he came to Blues, I loved him, but the thing that made Scott Hogan good, his partnership with Djukovic, Scott Hogan's work rate has slowly diminished. And, I know he doesn't get the game time anymore, and that might impact him. That might impact his work rate and his drive to do his job and, press as well as Stansfield does. But yes, Scott Hogan, for me, just isn't the player that's going to help us see out these remaining 5 games. And which means we need to find goals off the bench somewhere. And that somewhere could be through Keshi Anderson, albeit he hasn't scored his first goal for the club yet. Or it could be through Siriki Dembele. Now, Siriki Dembele is a hot topic on social media amongst Blues fans, especially after every single game we play, where it seems that Siriki Dembele is not putting in the hard yards and helping us see out a win or a draw, as we saw against Leicester. Once again, Siriki Dembele's work rate has been called into question. We've all probably seen clips of him jogging back, stopping on the edge of the 18-yard box, thinking, oh, no, not for me. That's a little bit too far. I can't go back there. My job's done now, and that we can't have that. And I feel like someone who is waiting in the wings to take his place on the bench is George Hull. George Hull has proven that he has the ability to go back and forwards, will defend for us. He came in at right back a few games ago. He will go anywhere and he will do anything for this club to see us over the line. I feel like if we are to go down, we're going to be relying on our young talent, and George Hall is going to be there for the foreseeable future. And he must, in my opinion, have a role to play in these next 5 games. It's a tough question and a tough decision for Rowett to make. But George Hall, for me, if he's going to come on, if we're winning and there's anyone who's going to come on and help us see out a game in an attacking position, it's George Hall. Now, does that say there's no place for Dembele? Of course not. Dembele is a wonderful player. He started the season off brilliantly. He's still on 6 goals, which I believe he scored his last against Blackburn in the 4-2 defeat, and while under the stewardship of Wayne Rooney. Yikes. But yeah, of course, he has a place in the team. He's our player. We need to get the best out of him. But he needs to show something. He needs to show some fight, and that's the thing with these players. These kind of flair, tricky players who maybe think they have the talent for the Premier League, but they don't have the work ethic for it. It's like, will they put in the work? And that remains the question. So Siriki Dembele, for me, he stays on the bench, but George Hall would be the player to come on for me to see out a game. So that leads me to the end of this preview, and I will leave with my prediction for the game. I believe we'll go 1-0 up. I believe we'll probably make a mistake because the pressure will tell on the players. Of course it will, because it has all season. The pressure will get to them and we'll concede. And we'll go on to win. I do truly believe that we'll win tomorrow. I've got a good feeling. I don't know why, but I've got a good feeling that we're going to win 2-1. Don't put any bets on it. Just don't. But yeah, 2-1 tomorrow, 2-1 to Blues, and it sees us climb to 21st on the table and makes our situation look a whole lot prettier than what 23rd does, where we currently lie. And although I'm confident for a win, it's got to be said, and the EFL have to be called into question as to why on earth we're playing a game in a relegation scrap with the referee of the game, Bobby Madley, who is a Huddersfield fan. He's been quoted as saying he's a Huddersfield fan. Now, my worry is that we find ourselves having Huddersfield lose tonight when this is being recorded, and Bobby Madley is going to be there in charge of the game, with his decisions dictating whether Huddersfield have a chance at staying up or us have a chance at staying up. And for me, that isn't right. And for me, the EFL needs to be called into question as to how this has been allowed and why this has still been allowed. I remember early on the season we had a similar case where I think we had a Sheffield Wednesday fan as a referee in charge of our game, a team who have been in and around us for the second half of the season since we've dropped. And yeah, it's quite honestly a disgrace. We'll see how it plays out. If he's professional, I won't have any complaints. But that worry lingers at the back of my head that we might just get screwed over. And I don't want to be the one to keep going to go on about refereeing decisions again and again and again. But we've been shafted before, and this is just the perfect chance to shaft us again. So it's one of them. We'll have to wait and see until the game finishes and what the outcome is. Yeah. We could end up winning, and we could say that the referee still tried to screw us over. Yeah. Time will tell. We keep right on to the end of the road and stay forever true to the Royal Blue. I'll be back maybe tomorrow, you know, when I do a review of the game, give my thoughts, feelings, some analysis, you know, we'll see where it takes us. Maybe back with another beer. This one, awfully bland. Got no flavour. It's fizzy at least, that's good. Yeah, there is worse though. There's worse. I'm surprisingly impressed. But that doesn't say much. So yeah, I'll be back to give my thoughts, feelings and analysis on the Blues tomorrow. And yeah, as I say, keep right on to the end of the road. Thank you very much for watching. Please, if you have enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting content. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, thank you for watching, and over for now. Bye.